When the European Cup, now called the Champions League, began in 1955, Real Madrid weren't just participants, they were architects of the tournament. They won the first 5 titles in a row, creating a legacy of dominance. But behind the glory, there were whispers of hand-picked opponents, political influence, and favorable treatment. This is the story of how Real Madrid's legendary run was built on both brilliance and controversy. In 1955, L'Équipe journalist Gabriel Hanot proposed a radical idea about a European Cup, and the proposal received support from UEFA, and the inaugural tournament was set in motion. Among the very first and most passionate advocates of this new competition was Santiago Bernabéu, the visionary president of Real Madrid. But Bernabéu saw more than just a footballing opportunity in the European Cup. He saw a path to reshape Real Madrid's identity, and this success also served political purposes, helping to polish Spain's image during Franco's dictatorship, when the country was largely isolated from the rest of Europe. The first edition of the European Cup didn't feature an open draw like today. Instead, clubs were invited, and Real Madrid were even allowed to choose their first opponent. They selected Servette from Geneva, a team that had only finished 6th in their domestic league. Santiago Bernabéu used this early fixture to visit the exiled King of Spain in Switzerland and subtly support the monarchy's image while staying within Franco's regime. Real Madrid began their European campaign on September 8, 1955, with a 2-0 away win at Geneva's Charmilles Stadium. They sealed the tie with a dominant 5-0 victory at the Santiago Bernabéu on October 12th, progressing with a 7-0 aggregate. That inaugural tournament featured just 16 teams, and notably, only 7 of them were reigning champions in their respective leagues. Madrid went on to defeat Stade de Reims in the final and lift the first ever European Cup. In the seasons that followed, the competition gradually expanded to 22, then 24, and eventually 26 teams. But while most clubs had to compete in preliminary rounds, Real Madrid, as defending champions, were granted direct entry into the round of 16. Nevertheless, Real Madrid came dangerously close to elimination in their very first European Cup tie during the 1956-57 season. They secured a 4-2 victory at home against Rapid Vienna, but suffered a 3-1 defeat in the return leg in Austria. Luckily for them, the away goals rule was not in use at the time. Had it been, Real would have been knocked out. Instead, the tie went to a playoff match. This decisive game was held in Madrid, and it's said that Real Madrid paid a large sum to bring Rapid Vienna back to the Bernabéu. The Spanish side won the match 2-0, ensuring their progression. Looking into this, Real Madrid's first 5 European Cups came at a time when the tournament had no strict qualification rules. Teams were invited, not qualified. Madrid often faced weak opponents in the early rounds and frequently played decisive games at home. With no VAR, loose regulations, favorable venues, and their president influencing the format, many believe those early wins were shaped more by power and politics than by pure football. Let's dive into some of the most controversial decisions that many believe have favored Real Madrid in recent Champions League campaigns. In the 2013 and 14 Champions League final, Atletico Madrid were moments away from glory after Diego Godin's first-half header gave them a 1-0 lead. But with 5 minutes of added time, which many Atletico fans saw as excessive, Real Madrid found a lifeline. In the 93rd minute, Luka Modrić delivered a corner, and Sergio Ramos rose to score a dramatic equalizer that forced extra time. But the goal wasn't without controversy. Replays showed Gareth Bale with his elbow raised near Juanfran's face just as Ramos jumped, potentially impeding the defender. Atletico players and supporters believed it was a foul that should have ruled the goal out. Instead, the match continued, and a worn-out Atletico side collapsed in extra time, with Real eventually winning 4-1 and lifting their historic 10th European title. 2 years later, in the 2016 Champions League final between Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, Sergio Ramos once again made the difference. Just 15 minutes into the match, Ramos scored the opening goal in a crowded box, giving Real an early lead. However, replays showed he was in an offside position when Gareth Bale's deflected touch sent the ball his way. With no VAR in use at the time, the goal stood despite Atletico's protests. Yannick Carrasco later equalized, and the match ended 1-1 after extra time, with Real Madrid eventually winning 5-3 on penalties. The controversy resurfaced later when Ramos commented that, "You can't win a match with an offside goal," a statement many rival fans pointed out was ironic, given his decisive and questionable goal in that very final. Let's take a look at Real Madrid's 2016 and 17 Champions League quarterfinal, where their dramatic extra-time win over Bayern Munich was overshadowed by major refereeing controversies. After losing the first leg 2-1 in Munich, Bayern fought back in Madrid and leveled the tie at 3-3, forcing extra time. But the second leg unraveled with several highly questionable decisions. Arturo Vidal was controversially sent off in the 84th minute for a clean tackle, earning a second yellow card for what wasn't even a foul, while Casemiro, already on a yellow, was allowed to stay on the pitch despite multiple reckless fouls. In extra time, Cristiano Ronaldo scored twice from clearly offside positions, yet both goals were allowed to stand. Meanwhile, Bayern's second goal, a Sergio Ramos own goal, may also have involved an offside player in the build-up. Despite officiating errors on both sides, the crucial calls overwhelmingly favored Real Madrid, prompting Vidal to claim, "The referee put us out," and coach Carlo Ancelotti to say, "It was an injustice and the whole world saw it." The match remains one of the most controversial moments in Real Madrid's Champions League history. The next incident occurred on April 11, 2018, during the UEFA Champions League quarter-final second leg between Real Madrid and Juventus at the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium. Juventus had remarkably overturned a 3-0 first-leg deficit, leading 3-0 on the night and leveling the aggregate score at 3-3. In the third minute of stoppage time, referee Michael Oliver awarded Real Madrid a controversial penalty after Benatia was judged to have fouled Lucas Vázquez in the box. Juventus players vehemently protested the decision, with goalkeeper Gianluigi Buffon confronting Oliver and expressing his dissent. Buffon's actions led to a straight red card, marking his first ever dismissal in the Champions League. After the match, he slammed referee Oliver, saying, "Clearly you cannot have a heart in your chest, but a bin." UEFA later gave him a 3-match ban for his comments and behavior. Cristiano Ronaldo converted the resulting penalty, securing a 4-3 aggregate victory for Real Madrid and eliminating Juventus from the competition. So, as you can see, Real Madrid's Champions League legacy shines with trophies and unforgettable moments. But behind the glory lies a story of influence, controversy, and decisions that still spark debate to this day. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel.